The ceasefire between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah has held for a second day, though both sides have accused the other of violating its terms. Israel launched its first airstrike since yesterday's deal, hitting a rocket storage facility in southern Lebanon after it says it detected Hezbollah activity there. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's instructed the military to be ready to restart the war if the ceasefire is violated. While these flashpoints remain, it was another day of homecoming, both in Israeli border towns and for many crossing back into Lebanon after fleeing east to Syria.
We got displaced to Syria and spent 63 or 64 days in Syria. We left our work, our homes because of the war. My feeling is that I'm happy that there is a ceasefire and there is no more destruction. The enemy does not know how to distinguish between civilian or military. The strikes were quite random.
In southern Lebanon, cleanup crews rolled in to start the daunting task of rebuilding what has been completely destroyed. Lebanese health officials say more than 3,700 people were killed by Israeli fire during the conflict. More than 1 million fled from their homes. In Ukraine, following a massive Russian attack overnight, more than 1 million homes are without power. Residents in the capital, Kyiv, took cover underground on subway platforms as almost 200 Russian missiles and drones crisscrossed the country, some as far west as Lviv. The Russians are targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure. It's the second major attack on its power grid in 2 weeks. As winter approaches and temperatures drop, some Ukrainians set up power generators in the streets. Russian President Vladimir Putin said the strikes were in retaliation for Ukraine's use of American-made long-range missiles.
Tonight, we carried out a comprehensive strike. These strikes from our side took place in response to the incessant strikes on Russian territory by American missiles. As has been said many times, there will always be a response from our side.
Putin also vowed to strike what he said were decision-making centers in the Ukrainian capital. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky called Putin's comments an escalation. Nearly half of Ukraine's power grid has been destroyed since Russia's invasion began. In Australia, TikTok, Instagram, X, and other social media platforms will likely be completely off limits to anyone under the age of 16 now that a first-of-its-kind ban has passed the Australian Senate. The law will require social media platforms to take reasonable steps to verify the age of users, steps that could include biometrics or government ID. The Senate has also proposed amendments that would bolster privacy protections. Australia's Prime Minister called the law a matter of safety, that social media can do more harm for young people than good. Meta, which is the owner of Facebook and Instagram, called the legislation rushed. Companies now have 1 year to implement the ban before facing fines. Thanksgiving travelers may have largely avoided disruptions ahead of the holiday, but the weather could be an issue for return trips this weekend. Starting tomorrow, cold temperatures are expected to bring lake-effect snow to the Great Lakes and New England. It's already snowing in places like New Hampshire. And much of the Midwest could experience a frigid weekend, with temperatures as much as 20 degrees below average. Thanksgiving today was also a time for kindness and acts of service. President Biden and the First Lady dropped off pumpkin pies and gave thanks to first responders on Nantucket, where they're vacationing this holiday. They also made their customary calls to units from each branch of the U.S. military. And Vice President Harris, alongside the second gentleman and extended family, prepared meals for those less fortunate with the nonprofit DC Central Kitchen. Still to come on the NewsHour, the cold medicine ingredient that the government says doesn't work and wants removed from shelves. In this increasingly digital world, why a growing number of people are returning to the typewriter. Love it or hate it, this time of year it is certainly hard to avoid pumpkin spice. How did it take over?
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein studio at WETA in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.